Enter the Void, 2009 film directed by Gaspar Noé. The film essentially follows a young man's slipping consciousness as he's bleeding out after being shot in Tokyo. And it's either the brain chemicals making him experience psychedelic visions, or it's the drugs he took shortly before death, or it's he's not even dying, he's imagining all this on a drug trip, or it's the experience of dying, as it follows pretty closely the description of the beliefs of the as they're written in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, which the characters overtly discuss early in the film. So to put it shortly, it's 2 hours 41 minutes of a bad trip, and it's glorious. I mean, it's not for everyone. It's a very deliberately abrasive, sometimes jarring film with a lot of unpleasant visual elements like the strobe lights or the intense sounds or the hard cuts to the repeated memory of the car crash from the character's youth. But and there's of course the sort of weirdly uncomfortably romantic relationship between the character and his sister, but it is brilliantly realized. The visuals, the sound, the editing especially make you feel like you're experiencing all these swirly visions along with the character. I thought the film is at its strongest in its first half, when we jump back and forth in the main character's life as he relives it out of order. I thought that part was fantastic at showing how time ceases to mean anything at all and all moments blend together. Plus, it also gives us all the tragic background and fills in the gaps for all the characters, which we didn't know early on. The second half is a little bit weaker, I thought. It dragged for a little bit too long, and again, the film is 2 hours 41 minutes, so very, very long. Although I get that that was part of the idea. The movie itself tells you that even though the trip on this chemical lasts 6 minutes, you might experience it as an eternity, and also with the Tibetan beliefs that your soul might wander the sort of afterlife for an eternity before you decide to move on and reincarnate. And by the way, I like movies like this one, which essentially tell you up front everything that's going to happen, and then it does, and you just sort of sit back, soak in it, and watch it unfold. On a technical level, I think it's masterful. The way the camera moves and the scenes are stitched together and the transitions happen through the various points of light. It really does feel like you're the one tripping, and the movie sort of keeps you grounded to the camera, tied to the camera by essentially never making an obvious cut. It's always a fade or a smooth transition, or if it's a cut, it's a match cut that's very quick. The one thing that I think has aged a little bit in terms of CG is there's an long overhead, shot of Tokyo towards the end of the film, which now looks obviously computer generated. But aside from that, I think it's a work of wonder in terms of making you think, how the fuck did they shoot this? Very good film. Not fun, not pleasant, but very good nonetheless.